Just on the previous class, you will have to be take it properly. The difference between for state and government. What does mean state? What does mean government? How we have to be differentiate between state and government. State is strictly different from government, and government is strictly different from state. Those discussion you will have to be discussed properly in the previous class, and also you would have to be take note properly in the previous class. Now we'll be continue the new chapter, what we call it for chapter 3, democracy. What does it mean, democracy? The word democracy comes from what? How we have to be defined the term democracy simply is there. Different philosophers or different persons to give different definition at different times. So some person to give some definition. So what is the meaning of democracy according for that person definition? We have to be discussed on today. But on the topic side, the meaning of democracy. So what does mean democracy? What does mean democracy? What does mean democracy? I think you have to be remember in the previous or in grade 7 or in grade 6 citizenship education subject, or what we can say for civic and ethical education subject. So how we have to be defined the term democracy, or what does it mean democracy? 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 What does it mean? What does? What does it mean? What does it mean? Democracy. Can you tell me some person? Or would you tell me some person? What does mean democracy? Do you know democracy? Do you know? What's democracy? What's democracy? Do you know? What's your name first? Mohammed. Is she? Okay. Next. What's democracy? Thank you. What's democracy? What's democracy? Do you know the meaning of democracy? Do you know democracy? People. Democracy, people. Thank you. Good. Let us come on the point. The word democracy, it comes from Greek words. Greek, do you know the Greeks? It comes from Greek word, demo and kratos. It comes from Greek word. The meaning of the word demo and kratos, it comes from two Greek words. The one or the first, demo. Demo, the meaning people, and kratos, the meaning rule. So the direct meanings of democracy, or the combinations of those two words, that means demo and kratos, when we combine for those two words, we can get rule by the people, or all of the role of the people. So this is simply the word democracy. It comes from Greek word demo and kratos. Demo means, in short, people. Kratos means, in other term, rule. So the direct meanings of this democracy, or these two words, when we have to be combined, this demo and kratos, we have to be get democracy. So the meaning of democracy, rule of the people or rule by the people. So democracy is simply ruled by the people. Or in other terms, when we define democracy, it is a system of government. It is a system of government in which peoples rule directly or indirectly through their elected representatives. This is simply the meaning of democracy in short. So what does it mean direct and indirect? Direct and direct. Direct. What does it mean direct? Direct and indirectly through the elected representatives. It's a system of government in which the people govern or rule by themselves directly or indirectly their elected representatives. So what does it mean direct? Do you know the term direct? That means there is direct democracy in short. There is direct democracy, there is indirect democracy. እስኪ ቀጥተኛ democracy. Direct democracy means it's a form of democracy that the people can elect their leader directly. For example, we have to be take some example here in the class. You have to be nominate your class monitor. Is that when you have to be elect or when you have to be nominate your class monitor, you have to be involved. All of them, you are here in the class. To be elected, what's your names? Muhammad. Muhammad is your class monitors. So you can nominate your class monitor Muhammad in short. So simply what you can say, this is direct democracy. Indirect means you will have to be represented as a person. So that is simply direct democracy. So it is a system of government in which people rule or govern directly or indirectly through their elected representative. This is the meaning of democracy in short. According to Abraham Lincoln, different persons, different philosophers to give different definition for the meaning of democracy at different times. So according to Abraham Lincoln, the meaning of democracy means government of the people. Governments of the people. Government of the people. Democracy means governments of the people. It means governments of the people. Governments of the people, by the people, for the people. According to Abraham Lincoln definition, the meaning of democracy means the first government of the people, of the people. What does mean of the people? According to Abraham Lincoln definition, democracy is governments of the people. What does mean of the people? Of, for, by. So those terms are simply given by this Abraham Lincoln's. What does mean of the people? Of the people. Democracy is in short governments of the people. Governments of the people. What does mean of the people? Of the people. What does it mean? Do you understand? What does mean of the people? Of the people. What does mean of the people? What does mean of the people? What does mean of the people? Democracy in short, governments of the people, by the people, for the people. So what does mean of the people? To come on the point, democracy, according to Abraham Lincoln, democracy is simply government of the people. Of the people, it means there is a government officials. There is a government official that are elected solely by the peoples. Government official must be elected or nominated or selected by simply the people. So in short, when we define the term democracy according to this definition, people should have to be participated and to be elect their official workers in short. So this is simply the meaning of democracy that's given by Abraham Lincoln. The next one, democracy is government by the people. Government by the people. Of the people, by the people. You'll have to be consider all this. Of the people. Government of the people, government by the people, government for the people. For the people. Look, the last one. So, from here, government by the people, there is public participation. The public should have to be participated in the election systems. Or the society, the people, the community participated. Their issue, or the election system, or whatever, that simply we can say government by the people. In the government process. When we have to be make some government, or when we have to be constructed, or building, or restructure the government, the society must have to be clearly participated on that issue. That's simply democracy. In short, government by the people is the second definition that's given by Abraham Lincoln. The last one, democracy is government for the people, for the people, for. Look it, for the people. For means there is a government official that should act for the best interests of the people. You know. There is some workers in the office or in the government official. Those workers should have to be achieve the interest of the community, the goal of the community. That's simply we can say government for the people. This is a clear idea. That's the definition given by Abraham Lincoln. So this is simply what you can say Abraham Lincoln to give the definition of democracy, governments of the people, by the people, for the people. What does it mean of the people? What does it mean by the people? What does it mean for the people? Those are clear ideas. That's given by Abraham Lincoln. So it's clear for you. By the people means it's clear. For the people means it's clear. Of the people means it's clear. So you have to take into consideration a clear idea from here. Government of the people, government by the people, government for the people. This is simply given by Abraham Lincoln. It's a clear idea. The definition that's given by Abraham Lincoln. The next will be continued from here. The original or the origins of democracy. The word democracy comes from Greeks. When it comes from Greeks, the origin place of or the origins of democracy from where? From where? From where democracy comes? From where democracy comes? From where? From where? It's a clear idea. From where democracy comes? From where? From where democracy comes? Democracy. Or the original place of democracy or the birthplace of democracy, where? Where it becomes birth. It came. Where? Democracy? Huh? No. Area. Where? The question, the large question, where? The area. Where democracy comes. From where? From where? This idea it came. From where? The question is from where? From where? From where? Where democracy is come. Or the origin place of democracy is where? Who can tell me? Mohammed. Do you know the question? Do you understand the question? Do you understand the question, what I say? Say? Do you understand the question? Do you understand the question, what I say? Do you know the question? Do you understand what I say? Where the idea of democracy is come? Where the idea of democracy comes? From where? From where? From where? What? It's not what. From where? Where? It's a place. The original place of democracy is where? ዲሞክራሲ የሚለው ቃል ከየት መጣ ነው ጥያቄው። ተግባባን? ዲሞክራሲ የሚለው ቃል ከየት መጣ ነው። አሁን ዌር ከተባለ ደብሊው ኩዌስችን ስለሆነ ሲጠየቅ ዲሞክራሲ የሚለው ቃል from where it come ከተባለ ከየት ነው የመጣው? እሺ ከግሪክስ it comes from Greeks. አቴና ዲሞክራሲ ይለዋል ነው አቴና it comes from Greeks. The Greek city states what he called for Athens. The idea of democracy it comes from the Greek city states what he called Athena. So it comes from Athena or Athens. It's a Greek city state what he called for Athens. So the original place of or the origins of democracy it comes from Greeks what he called it for Athenian democracy or Athens in short. It's a Greek city state is what he called it. So it's clear for you. When the question is say where it comes from Greek in short. Where democracy is come, the question is it came from Greeks. It comes from Greeks. The word democracy comes from Greeks. It is clear for you. This one question, so you'll have to be understand the term based on it. The next, what does mean democracy? How do you think in your mind the word democracy? How do you think? What does mean democracy? How do you think democracy in your mind? Democracy in your mind. Do you know democracy? Do you know democracy? If you know, what does it mean democracy? If you know, what does it mean democracy? If you know, what does it mean? If you know, what does it mean democracy? If you know, what does it mean democracy? Please tell me, don't afraid. As you have to be look not from your board, the meaning of democracy. The word democracy comes from Greeks. If it comes from Greeks, demo and kratos. Demo means people, kratos means rule. So what does it mean democracy? Do you know democracy in your mind? Please don't afraid to say something. Do you know the meaning of democracy? Do you know in your mind? What does mean democracy? What does mean democracy? Do you know something in your mind? Do you know regarding to democracy? Do you know? ሐሳቡ ገብቷችኋል አይደል? የዲሞክራሲ የሚለው ሐሳብ ስለዚህ ዲሞክራሲ ማለት ምን ማለት ነው የሚለውን አእምሯችሁ ላይ ቴክ አድርጉት ቲንክ አድርጉት እንጂ It's clear. Democracy is a system of government in which people rule directly or indirectly through their elected representative. The next one, according to Abraham Lincoln, the meaning of democracy is here. The word democracy comes from Greeks, demo and kratos. Demo means people, kratos means rule. So the direct meanings of democracy, to rule the people, or to rule or to govern by themselves. This is simply the exact or the direct meanings of democracy. It's clear for you. The next, as you have to be remember for here, democracy, according to Abraham Lincoln, different philosophers, different politicians to give different definition for the meaning of democracy at different times. According to Abraham Lincoln, for the meaning of democracy, it is a system of government of the people, by the people, for the people. So what does it mean, government of the people? What does it mean, government by the people? What does it mean, government for the people, according to Abraham Lincoln definitions? It is clear for you. According to Abraham Lincoln, for the meaning of democracy, it is governments of the people, by the people, for the people. So according to his definition, of the people means the government official should have to be elect their leaders clearly or properly. That is the exact definitions of democracy that's given by Abraham Lincoln. Governments of the people. Governments of the people. The another definitions of Abraham Lincoln, government by the people. By the people. What does it mean by the people? How we have to be determine or differentiate of with by. Of with by. Government by the people. By means there is public participation. Those participation that should have to be involved in the government making processes. The government should have to be make. That should have to be the society, the people to involve, to participate with that making processes. This is simply the another meanings of democracy by the people. The last one, democracy according to Abraham Lincoln, democracy is government for the people. For the people means there is the government officials. Those officials should have to be do good thing for the society or perform the task for the interest of the community. It's clear for you. So this is enough for you. If you have any question, you can, unless it's enough for you. ጥያቄ ካላችሁ መጠየቅ ትችላላችሁ። ከሌላችሁ የዛሬዋ ሌሰን ይችን ትመስላለች። ትንሽ ግልጽ አድርግላችኋለሁ በአማርኛ አዘጋጅ እናንተ ነው። ይችን ትንሽ ግልጽ ላድርግላችሁ በአማርኛ ምናልባት አዎ ይችን ግልጽ ላድርግላችሁ ትንሽ አንዳንዴ እንትኑ ቃላቱ ለእናንተ it's so much difficult ወርዱ ያስቸግራችኋል especially for knowing